So I just want to, even though you're all the way across the country, you're the one most related that has to deal with me right now. I just want you to be adequately prepared for it, okay?
Oh, I can't wait. I love a good, passionate conversation, aggressive conversation. So bring it on. Bring it on.
Okay. So some of my colleagues in the media are trying to create a conversation around Steph Curry and the MVP award. Now, Steph, to his credit, and I think we have some Steph audio we can play for you. Steph, to his credit, is not focused on it and is not courting this attention. So this is not anti-Steph. In fact, let's hear from Steph after last night when he dropped 40 points and hit 10 threes when he was asked about league MVP.
Obviously, that's an amazing, accomplishment, and being in that conversation with all that we've been through these last 2 or 3 years, that means something. I really try not to get distracted by that because it kind of changed the moment. And really, right now, if I'm doing my job, then I'll be there at the end of the season, and that'll take care of itself.
So listen, this is not on Steph. He's played great, and he's not courting the attention. It's fine. But this should not be a discussion. I'm bothered by the lower third on the screen right now. Who's your MVP, Steph or LeBron? It's because you can argue LeBron's not the MVP. That's fine. You can argue it's Joel Embiid. That's where the discussion ends. And there's about 6 guys who have a stronger case, including Kawhi and Kevin Durant and Nikola Jokic, who have a stronger, in addition to Embiid and LeBron, who have a far stronger case than Steph, because the MVP award cannot go and does not go to someone on a team that's 500-ish and the 8th seed. And if we are going to act like that is allowed and that it's not about your team being the best team in the league or one of the very best teams in the league, then fine. We can change the rules to help Steph this year. But that then means he has to go back and give back the 2015 MVP to LeBron James. Show me the 2015 numbers. Because Steph Curry not only won, this wasn't his unanimous MVP year, this was his first MVP. What is the possible argument that Steph Curry was the MVP that year? And by the way, LeBron's team wasn't the 8th seed. They weren't right around 500. They were the 2 seed out east. LeBron averaged more points, averaged more rebounds, about the same amount of assists, same field goal percentage. LeBron, obviously, the better defensive player. So why did one guy get 100 first-place votes and the other guy got 5? Because Steph's team won 67 games, and that's how this award works. And we can show you the last decade of MVP winners, and they all have something in common except Russell Westbrook. And by the way, we just don't have room on the screen. But this would apply if instead of the last 10 years, we showed you the last 35 years. What they have in common is your team has to be awesome. The one outlier is Russ. Now, Russ's team wasn't right around 500 and the 8th seed. They were a 47-win team in the 6th seed. But also, he was the first player in a half century to average a triple-double, and he won the scoring title, carrying a roster that is no worse than the one Steph has right now to 47 wins, or right around equivalent. And by the way, he still probably shouldn't have won that MVP. But we cannot keep doing this in regards to Steph, which is give him all the accolades, praise, accoutrement that go along with being one of the greatest players ever, while also holding him to a different standard than everyone else. By everyone else, I mean the other great players. There is no universe that could exist where Giannis or Durant or Harden or, God forbid, LeBron could be on a team that was 14-12 and barely in the playoffs, and we would be discussing them as an MVP candidate. That's not how this award has ever worked. And again, Steph has benefited from that. 2016, he was the league MVP. He won the scoring title and his team won 73 games. He was an offense unto himself. In 2015, none of his numbers scream MVP. He was 6th in the NBA in scoring. I'm looking at it now. Apologize for looking down. He was 6th in the NBA in assists that year. He wasn't first in anything. So why did he run away with MVP that year? Because his team won 67 bleeping games. And why did LeBron only get 5 first-place votes that year, despite the fact he went to a Cavs team that had been the worst team in the league the 4 years he was gone and immediately got them to the 2 seed? Because folks were like, well, you know, the 2 seed's good, but 60-win Hawks won more, and the Warriors won more, didn't win quite enough. I think they won 56 games that year. But that's how this award has always gone. And to try to change the rules midstream because everyone loves Steph, it's insanity. Right now, if you were listing MVP candidates, it would probably go like this. LeBron 1, decent sized gap, Embiid 2, massive gap to the next guy. LeBron and Embiid are worlds ahead of everyone else in this discussion. And if you want to make the argument that it's Embiid right now over LeBron, I'll disagree with you, but it's a legitimate argument. But those are the only 2 guys you can argue it for. 3rd place, there's a lot of guys in contention for it. I think right now, probably 3rd place is Kawhi. And that might sound odd coming from me because I was such a Clipper critic last year, but I was a Clipper critic last year because I was right about him. This year, it's been different. Kawhi's playing more. They're better coached. They have a better roster. So Kawhi could be 3. KD could be 3. Jokic could be 3, but his team needs to win a little more as well. There's your top 5. LeBron, Embiid, and then we can parse this next order. Kawhi, KD, Jokic. 6 would be Giannis. 7 would probably be Donovan Mitchell. Now, at 8, you start talking Steph Curry, Jaylen Brown, Kyrie Irving when he's been there. That's the neighborhood that this year's Steph on a 14-12 team is in. If Steph's in the conversation, Bradley Beal's got to be sitting there saying, what about me? I give you 35 a night, not 30 a night. Again, if Steph wants this in, again, he's not the one talking about this. But if the media wants to give Steph this MVP or even talk about it as if that is a real possibility, barring a 10-game winning streak for the Warriors, that's fine. But what you got to do is go to the Bay Area, go to Steph's house, take the 2015 MVP, and go give it to LeBron. Because Steph won that one because he was best player on the best team. And that's fine because that's how this award has gone for years. To change it midstream because, oh, wait, best player on best team. It's unbelievable that the different mental gymnastics folks will go to try to just prevent giving LeBron his deserved MVPs. We saw year 3 for LeBron, Steve Nash win one over him, which was lunacy. If you go back and look at the rosters, the teams, all of it. But the reasoning was LeBron's team didn't win enough. Keep that in mind. We saw Derrick Rose win one over LeBron, and the reasoning was, well, we're mad at LeBron for going to the Heat. And the one Steph won over him in 2015, that wasn't even close. It was, well, Steph's team won 67 games. What can you do? Now, in 16, it was legitimate. 17, that's a questionable MVP, the one the Russ won. 2018, Harden, no doubt about it, 65 wins. He was spectacular. 19 and 20, I had no problem with Giannis winning it. Great defensive player, great offensive player, unbelievable record. But one of the things we used against LeBron was, yeah, he's putting up all these numbers, he's doing it in the East. winning all these games, is doing it in the East. And now that his team's been the best team in the West, every year he's been healthy out there, we don't care about that anymore. Don't care about record anymore. You want to say Embiid's the MVP, fine. You're wrong, but it's close. But to say Steph's the MVP, can't deal with it. It's too much. The other big story today is the ongoing silence from the Seattle Seahawks.